What is going on, guys? It is Radical Chaos of Hooligans of Halcyon, and I already recorded this video. I literally talked for about 18 minutes already, telling this whole Radical Chaos intro, and I wasn't recording through the mic. So we're doing it again. Yes, off to a great start. So today we're going to be talking about me, Radical Chaos. Basically just the origins of the name, how I met Matt and Jay, and you know, I'm going to try to convince the guys to do their own videos. I'm trying to convince them to record, you know, Ginger Pride and whatever Matt decides that he wants to call himself. I know in the last video I kind of talked about how he was, Podhead Productions, and he then changed his name to Proud Podhead, and then he wanted to change it to Cannabis Hulk. And Matt, no, I'm not annoyed. I'm just saying that you got to pick something. And I get it. Like you want your brand, you want your name, you want whatever you're creating, your content to, you know, reflect, or your name to reflect what your content is about. So I kind of get it. But the more you dwell on a name, the longer you're gonna take to get things started. And so, I mean, you know, if you, whatever you want to call yourself, man, go for it. You know, if I know you're watching, so just go for it. You know, just pick something and don't worry about it. Don't overthink it, because the more you think it, the harder it's gonna get. So anyway, yeah, I'm hoping that, you know, Jay will do a Ginger Pride video. And again, if they don't want to, that's okay, because, you know, I'm not forcing them to do it. It's up to them. I just think it'd be a great idea to have each of us have a video telling about how we met each other, and you know, where our names came from, or what it means to us, or whatever they want to talk about, kind of just introducing themselves to kind of get a little more personal with our audience. But I can kind of get why it's intimidating. You know, if you've never really done it before, it's kind of a little bit scary to some people. I know when I first kind of started recording myself and doing videos and things like that, I get it. You know, I kind of get it, but it's just something you gotta just practice at home and do. Like right now, there's no one around. It's just me, and I'm talking to my phone. So it's just something you gotta do. Anyway, we're gonna talk about Radical Chaos, my name, where it came from, how I got started with Hooligans of Halcyon. I'm moving the cord. If that's shaking the camera, I'm not sure. And how I met Matt and Jay, and really kind of that's really about it. So Radical Chaos, well, it was years ago when I came up with Radical Chaos. I came up with Radical Chaos like any other name, just randomly picked two words that I liked and stuck them together. But the more I thought about it, the more I was thinking, like, you know what, it's a good name to kind of describe me as a person. And I'm going to get into that. But prior to being called Radical Chaos, I actually went by the stupidest name. I actually went by Mr. Walrus Puppet. And that was just my gamer tag, and that's all I ever used it for. But it was just so stupid that I'm like, I have to come up with something different. And so Radical Chaos came about, and radical was a word that I was trying to come up with at the time. And nope, that's not what I was trying to say. Radical was a word that I wanted to bring back at the time, because it kind of went with the 80s, or, you know, whenever, early 90s, I guess. And I was like, you know, let's bring it back, radical, rad. And so, I mean, but it also means that, you know, a radical change in something, and you know, we as humans, we as people are constantly changing. You know, you might see somebody that you know tomorrow that you haven't seen in, you know, 25 years. And they might be entirely a different person. So they went through a radical change, or they might have had a personal experience that radically changed them. And again, well, chaos is just, again, another word that I like. And, you know, life is chaotic. Life is chaos. My head is chaos. You know, my style is chaotic. I mean, as you can kind of tell from the way I'm dressed now compared to the last video I made, and how I was dressed in that video, is night and day, essentially. And so it just kind of, you know, Radical Chaos kind of just spoke to me. And I kind of used to do gaming. I wrote blogs. I don't know, I just used it for every little username that I could for a long time. And eventually kind of went into the back burner for a while. And I never really did much with it, but I kind of just had, like, you know, small blogs, small gaming things here and there. And So then I think, then I started going by Nas-T, Nas-T, and that was all Jay's fault. We're blaming Jay for that because, and this is a good segue into, into how I met Matt and Jay. So I met Matt first, and I will get into the reason why it's Jay's fault, why I was called Nas-T, but I met Matt first, and we all met at the same restaurant that we worked at. We all met at this restaurant. Matt started first, and he was just a work guy, and it was just something that I get along with at work. He was essentially my work bestie, at the time, and we had similar interests, and we never really hung out outside of work. It was just like I said, just a work thing. Eventually, he was the guy that kind of stuck around along with Jay through an event that happened in my life that kind of set me back a little bit, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Anyway, and then Jay started later on, and why it's his fault is because we got talking one day about rap and writing songs and things like that, and he showed me his songs that he had with a group called THC, True Hell's Creation, from years ago. And Jay's a great guy. Jay's real funny. Used to tell jokes, and we got along anyways, aside from like the music thing. But anyways I've really worked, it's always been through music. Like, no matter the age of the person, I would always get along with these people, having a similar interest in music. Anyway, so Jay and I, we started talking about writing songs, and he said that he had a few songs from his group THC that were never finished that I could write a verse to. And I had never rapped I've written lyrics for rap songs, or I guess rap lyrics not really for anything, for myself. I used to kind of write them with friends in high school. There was two guys that I used to actually rap battle, but on paper. We used to write lyrics and then pass them back and forth in class, and whoever had like the best lyrics would just kind of like win, essentially, right? There was no bragging rights. It was just like, okay, you had the better lyrics. Okay, most kids are passing notes in class, whatever else, stupid drawings, or like to bully some kid. I don't know, I never really got those notes. It was always just me passing lyrics to my friends. And so that was the most I ever really did with it, aside from like just your poetry that you would write. And what's rap besides just poetry set to a beat? Anyway, so he had a few songs that were unfinished. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll write something. And then so I went down to his place and recorded the first song, and it was absolute garbage. It was trash. I hated it because obviously I was still new to doing it, but I'm like, I gotta get out of my shell. And so that kind of like goes back to, Matt and Jay kind of recording videos and audio and things like that. It's, you wouldn't think about it, that it was a big deal, and it's kind of intimidating, but it can be. Especially if you really haven't heard yourself before. You might listen to yourself and like, really, that's how I sound? So I kind of get it. But so anyway, we went on from there, and he had more songs and I would add to it, and then eventually I started writing my own songs and doing my own things, and it just kind of kept building from there. And so I needed a rap name, and I had no idea what to call myself. It was kind of like what Matt's going through right now. It's like, what do you call yourself? What do you come up with that kind of you stand behind, right? But I also wanted something that reflected my lyrics, which were at the time really vulgar and crazy. Like, we had songs about drive-through prostitutes and like pretty much just like, what's his name? What is that rapper's name? If anybody's ever heard of Necro, or just like, even the old Eminem songs about killing his, wife and shit like that. That's kind of the stuff that, but also trying to be funny, that's kind of the stuff we used to rap about. And so I was like, what can I call myself, and what would I stand behind? So it was just like Nasty, Nas-T, because my lyrics were nasty, but also my name was T, or T, but Tristan. So, that was, and that's why I went by it. And so of course, when I started sharing my music, people were like, okay, well, it's obviously super crazy. Why are you saying those kind of things? And there was actually one friend of mine, Evan, I don't know if you're watching, but he actually started calling me Nasty like in person. And eventually it just stuck that whenever he would actually call me by my real name, it would be weird, you know, he'd be like, what'd you just call me, you know? And so anyway, I was doing that for a while, and then I would say, just kind of jumping ahead, there was an event in my life that kind of altered things a lot, and the way I wrote. But I had written a few more serious songs before, and I had showed Jay, and Jay's like, you know, you're actually better at storytelling and being emotional and telling your feelings out on lyrics than you are, you know, writing about, you know, just crazy funny stuff and shit like that. And I was like, you know what, you're right. So I kind of had to build on what I was good at. So I was like, but I can't be called Nasty, because then it just seems weird to call yourself Nasty, especially if you're trying to do a little more serious lyrics. So I just kind of went with RadicalChaos, because everything else was under RadicalChaos. I said, why not, right? And then after that, I think I started up the photography thing, and it was called RadicalChaos Photography. And from there, it was a snowball effect. So I was like, you know, let's just stick with that name. That's what you're known by. You know, that's what your serious things are under more than, you know, everything else. So let's just go with that. So that's how that came about, and RadicalChaos and everything. And then, of course, we kind of then to kind of go back about, I don't know how many years was that now, at least 6, I want to say. We were all working at the same restaurant, and eventually I left that restaurant and started working somewhere else. And then I'm not sure who left first. I don't know if it was either Matt or Jay who left first. And then I believe it was Jay, because I think Matt was the only one left at the end. He's no longer working there either. But so we kind of got distant after a while. But after this event in my life had happened, they were really the only two that kind of really stuck close to me. I mean, I'm not saying that anybody else, any of my other friends, really haven't stuck close, but they were the ones that were always there to help me out. I would go visit them the most. They would, you know, talk to me the most, and they knew every step of the way while I was going through all this stuff. So, you know, I'm not discrediting anybody else that I know, anybody else that has helped me or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, like, I appreciate it, and I mean, you guys all know who I talk to and who my friends are and everything like that. But for Matt and Jay, they were the closest too, and I mean, they're my two best friends. And so, you know, let's jump forward a little bit. We have all had ideas of what we wanted to do, and I was working on my photography, you know, my music, and that was really it under RadicalChaos, aside from like a few gaming things. And Jay was trying to convince me to start streaming and gaming, but I was like, that's not really, I mean, I don't game enough, and I don't have like a big gaming PC. I don't have a console anymore. I got rid of it, and so I don't really game a whole lot to stream. And so I said, that's your thing. And then he started teaching himself how to like do graphic design through a program called Blender. And so, you know, he wanted me to get into it, and I was like, that's still your thing. Like, I mean, I can't really get into it. And then I started doing, like, trying to make my own beats, and I had all these little other projects that I was working on. And then, of course, I mean, I think I mentioned it in the last episode about how Matt suggested a podcast, and I never really thought about doing a podcast before. And I always wanted to kind of do my own little show or videos or whatever it was on the internet. I just didn't know what to do. And so Matt had suggested a podcast, and I was like, you know, that's a good idea, because you see, everybody has their own podcast now, and then if people are really interested in talking about it, and or not talking about it, but like talking, having conversations, and then talking and getting to know people, why not? You know, why not capitalize, I guess, on that? And so I said, why don't we just put everything together? You know, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned that in the last episode too, that, you know, I just photography and graphic design and music and whatever else we would really come up with. And I mean, I've always wanted my own clothing line too, so I mean, that would be really cool once we're able to do that. And I know things are kind of all over the place right now. I mean, you haven't really seen a consistent flow of content, whether it be by me or the other two guys. It's because we're still trying to get into that groove, and I mean, trying to work things out together and get into a position where we can have a constant flow of content. So you guys are just gonna get whatever you get whenever you get it. And I mean, it's still in its early stages. I'm just trying to build the hype, because I mean, I want people to know. I want people to kind of look out for us. I want people to understand, like, you know what, I'm trying to be serious with this. And it's not just a fly-by-night kind of thing. It's not just some, you know, big bad dream. I guess not bad, but you know, it's not some big dream that's just going to fail in a few months. I'm really trying to stick with it. And so, you know, we all are trying to put as much as we can into it and what we're capable of doing. And I mean, aside from, you know, one of us has a family to take care of and another one, you know, or we all have jobs and just personal lives. Plus it's just a matter of getting to each other's places. You know, we all live in separate areas. Matt lives a little bit closer than Jay does, but you know, we got to get together. Anyway, so Radical Chaos is kind of just becoming a thing that I've been known by, and I guess I kind of, you know, I don't know, like I've stuck by that. It's been who I am more than Nasty or Mr. Waller's Puppet, or, I mean, you can call me by my name if you want. You can call me Tristan. That's fine. I mean, that's just me. But, and I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say Radical Chaos is a character. It's just a brand. And I mean, I say brand very loosely. And I know some people are going to be like, well, you're not really a brand. But you understand what I'm trying to say. You understand what I mean by that. It's because I use Radical Chaos under a variety of artistic outlets. I'm trying to think of what else I said in the last video, because I did talk for about 18 minutes and I feel like I said more things, and that I hope this works this time. I still haven't really got how to teach myself how to cut a video into parts so that I can cut the really bad parts out. I'm just not confident enough to do it in that sense that if I do start cutting things out of videos, is it going to sound okay? Is there breaks in it where I can cut it? You know, I've never done video editing before. I'm still teaching myself that. I mean, people go to school for those kind of things, and people will take, you know, will go on YouTube and look up YouTube tutorials. I'm doing it all by myself. You know, I'm trying to teach myself. Same thing with like the rap, the photography, the music production, you know, anything that I'm doing, I've been more self-taught than anything. I may look up help from time to time, and I may kind of like look at other people and what they're doing, but it's mostly a self-taught thing. Never really took any of this in school or anything like that. So yeah, hopefully this is the beginning of something really great. I'm hoping that Matt and Jay kind of, you know, will do their own video. And again, I'm not forcing them to do it. It's entirely up to them. I think what we need to do, and what I would really like to do, is kind of get together, all three of us, sit down and actually have like a real conversation just about anything really. And I've got ideas written down for my own videos, podcasts, whatever you want to call it, and that I might do. But really, you want to throw ideas around. Did I just spit? I don't know. But you want to throw ideas around. You want to be able to bounce conversations off of other people. And I mean, especially with your best friends, you want to be able to talk about stuff and kind of, you know, make that video. And so I'm hoping to do that soon. I can't say when, but I know that with Twitch, for example, you can stream and you can just have a casual conversation and sit there and talk, but it will save your stream, and that way you can edit it later on and make it into like a video. So that's kind of like what I want to do, because with a stream, you don't really have a timer. And for me, because I'm using my phone, I have a time limit of how long I can talk and how long I can record for. And plus it's just me. So I have to kind of like, you know, come up with ideas and realize, okay, I have to constantly talk and I have to be entertaining and engaging with the people who are watching. And I never really wasn't, I created stuff on TikTok. Like I was on TikTok for a while doing lives and things like that. And I would interact with the people who would come in, and I mean, whoever's watching, I'm sure you guys know how TikTok lives work, and that's really fun. That's where I kind of get over my, I don't know, not fear, but kind of get under that uncomfortableness of recording in front of a camera, is just interacting on TikTok live. And when I don't have people to interact with, it's a little bit harder to kind of sit here and think like, what am I going to say next? What am I going to talk about? How am I going to engage with my phone and the people who are just watching after the fact, you know? So I guess that's why this seems so, maybe it doesn't seem awkward to you. Maybe it's just personal opinion. But I hope you guys enjoy these videos. This was just a little introduction about myself. I'm not sure what the next episode is going to be. Hopefully it will be either with the other two guys, or if it is just me, then hopefully I have like a kind of, you know, just a thing, a certain idea that I go with and talk about. I've been told many times that people enjoy listening to me talk, so I mean, I'm hoping my voice is okay and not like one of those annoying voices you don't want to listen to. Besides that, I think I got 6 minutes left, so I'll probably cut it off short here. I don't know what else to really talk about. I think that's really it as far as RadicalChaos, the base story of how I came to be, how it all came to be. Hopefully I don't have to record this again. But so any social media links I'll have in the description below. RadicalChaos photography, which is just RadicalChaos photography at Facebook, on Facebook, whatever. Also the real RadicalChaos on TikTok. And I think that's it for now as far as my own social media sites. And I feel weird saying sites, like apps. What do you say when you say that? Social medias, socials, whatever, you know. But yeah, Instagram is I'm pretty sure it's just Tristan is rad. But anyway, the links will be in the description, so don't, I don't know, I'm just being stupid and just rambling now at this point. But on the next episode, yeah, I hope you guys stick around. Hope you guys enjoy these videos. I'll get better, I swear. It can only go up from here. That's it, guys. That's it. That's all. I know the lighting's kind of weird. I picked a blue. Minor details. All right. Well, I'm gonna go get something to eat because I am actually really hungry right now, and I have just recently posted a few new pictures, so if you want to go check that out. And honestly, I'm hoping to get some songs done. I don't know. Like I know I have a bunch that are just not finished. I'm just not happy with them. So hopefully, in this weird light, sorry to kind of cut it, what I was saying off, but like you can tell that it kind of switches in it. I look like I'm blushing. I swear I'm not wearing blush. Yes, I'm wearing eyeliner. Y'all can call me out about it, whatever you want, doesn't matter, but I'm not wearing blush. Anyway, all right, guys. Hope everybody enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys all have a great night. Peace.